So this is my Jackson's masking fluid and it's the tinted one. Oop. Okay, so let's see how that works. I'm gonna just make some marks here on the paper. Oh dear. My masking tape is completely thick. Oh my god, it's not going according to the plan. Maybe it has dried up. Maybe it's supposed to be a lot thinner. I mean, no, this is just not going to work. Yeah. So I'm just going to try and clean it off on here. And just let it dry. It doesn't look great at all in the sense of what I'm trying to achieve here. So I'm going to wipe it off. Yeah, cleaning this is a bit of a nightmare because I'm trying to get the tissue in between these two. Yeah, so not for masking tape. So there are actually some brushes for masking tape, which I did buy. Can't quite remember where I put them. I think I might have them downstairs. And you can use them just with masking tape. Or else you can use things like that. Some rubberized tools. So for instance, well, I could do it with this. So you're not going to get the detail if you wanted to, but you could create thinner areas with masking tape, which means they would dry faster. So if you needed to block out a larger area, you could go in with tools like that for watercolor, for instance, and then it would be so much easier to clean off and take them off because they're thinner. And also cleans off easier from a silicone tool rather than from anything else. Even a brush that's designed for masking tape, it's still quite hard to clean, but I guess at least you're not feeling like you're ruining a good brush. Alright, so I'm gonna try and wait for these to dry and then go over with watercolor and just show you masking tape technique in case you're completely new to it. As I was sitting here, I actually thought, let me try them with something that's quite transparent, doesn't have the bubbles that we have in here. And I thought of the Ecoline liquid watercolor, and I thought, well, let's see how it would do here, whether it's sort of going to be a similar thing to like a dip pen or something. So let me do that. So I'm just going in. Okay, it's not holding much here, but let's try it anyhow. So for instance, if we just draw, okay, so the line is not very thin and it doesn't hold it for too long. So let me try to make the distance between them a lot thinner. Oh, okay, now it's holding a bit more, so let's see if that would help in any way. So that kind of works better. Yeah, look at that. The line is nice and thin. And it's holding a fair bit amount of the watercolor. It's going to run out soon, but I like the thinness. So that's working well. Okay, so that's good for drawing. Definitely works. Okay, let's try another thing. I'm going to clean the nib just in water like I did before. And now I want to also try it with the Daler-Rowney FW ink. And this is the ink that I used a lot in the past couple of years. Absolutely love this medium. It's an ink that can be used like it's pigment ink, and it can be also used like a acrylic, you know, or watercolor. It's the same thing. I'm dipping in, and let's see. So at the minute it's a bit thick. Maybe for the first thickness of the line, either start at the thickest part of your project or use another piece of paper just to get that thick line out of the way. Do a bit of sketching, and then you're left with this lovely thin line. So I'll try to bring them in a bit tighter in. So say for instance somewhere here, I'm just going to get rid of the thick beginning of the line, and then it's a bit thin, so it feels like no ink is coming through, so I'm just opening it up slightly. It's definitely kind of takes time to get used to, and yeah, start sort of drawing in the way that would suit this pen. And sometimes it skips the line as well with this ink, but I felt that it worked really well with the other ink. So before it's fully dried, you can then just add a bit of watercolor or water rather on your brush, and sort of make these lovely watercolory effects. Okay, so I quite like this. Okay, well, I'd say this is somewhat of a new discovery. Okay, so make sure you get rid of this fairly quickly, because it does dry, especially when it's on a thin side. It will dry to the metal of the pen quite quickly. Make sure it doesn't clog up the nozzle here, so open it up, clean in between and all of that good stuff. Okay, so let's see, this is still needs a bit of heat, so I'm just gonna dry this and come back. Okay, so now I'm just going to actually use this acrylic ink. I like the color a lot. It's the Antelope Brown, and I'm going to go over, and it has a funny sound when you go over the masking tape. It's got that sort of like a rubbery, elasticated sound. So I'm just going to cover the area like that. That needs to be then dried fully. And what I'm going to do in some areas, just add a little bit more, just for interest. So here and there really. Okay, I'm going to now dry, and we will be able to reveal what's underneath. All right, so some people use their finger, but sometimes you can pick up the pigment on top of the masking tape, and as you rub it on the paper, you can then just push it into the paper. So I'll try to use the eraser here. So like that. And then you can just lift it. And you basically reveal the white of the paper. And there you go. So that's your masking tape technique. I love these smaller areas, they're quite fun. Bit of doodling. Alright, so that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. It was one of those typical moments where I start with one thing and then I get some ideas and I just want to do it there and then rather than, you know, switch off the camera and do it in my own time. And I think it also helps you to kind of be on that journey with me and feel like we're doing it together, and so that you can also get inspired for these, some of the things maybe you haven't tried or you haven't done in a while. Either try something completely new that you haven't done or revisit something you used to do. Either way, it should add to the creativity. Okay, so I will see you next time for more info on these granulating colors, more play, more mixing, and just, you know, a deeper dive into them. All right, thank you for watching and I'll see you soon.